Hello YouTube, Great RJ1 here. Gong Julian, sorry. And today I'll be doing a hero concept, which I've moved from my main channel over to the Gong Julian channel. Of my favourite Star Wars character at the moment, the Grand Inquisitor. So the abilities, sorry if they seem more like abilities that you'd find in a mod. This was kind of a concept that could have been for a mod. So sorry if they seem very much like a mod. It was because these were thought of as if they were abilities used for a mod. So anyway, if you don't know who the Grand Inquisitor is, he's a former temple guard who on the night of Order 66 turned on the temple guards as Palpatine promised him access to the Jedi archives, which Joe Castanew didn't give him access to. So the temple guards were killed by the Grand Inquisitor, and he turned to the dark side and became an Inquisitor or Jedi Hunter, if you don't know what the Inquisitors are in Star Wars, and pretty much worked for Palpatine and Vader during the Empire, and hunted down Jedi, and were their apprentices. And there were also other Inquisitors, and he was the head of all the Inquisitors. Now with that out the way, we can get into his hero concept. So, his health on standard would be 800. He was the apprentice to Vader and Palpatine. I think that's a good health to put him at if he was an apprentice to some of the most powerful Force users. And with how he is, I'll also be giving him a 150 health regen pool. I know that's quite low, but this can be increased to 250 at a maxed out star card. I will not be going over all the star cards, only some. So now we get onto the run speed and swing speed and the amount of times he can swing and blah blah blah. So, he would have a similar run speed and swing speed to Dooku. He would fight with one hand behind his back and sometimes on his waist, and sometimes without hands behind his back for his animations. For the standard attack animations, he will, however, pretty much he'll be able to attack around 10 times before needing to regenerate stamina, and will be able to block around 10 lightsaber attacks. So that will be his standard for stamina. Maybe I'll up it to 15 attacks and lightsaber attacks on the blocking stamina and the attack stamina. I think that's actually a better place, so let's do that. So now with the stamina values out the way, we can get into the rest of his things, which are the abilities and the appearances and emotes and the rest. So, first ability will be Charged Throw. This will make him activate the second blade on his lightsaber, use the spinning function on it, and will make him pretty much throw the lightsaber, but you have to charge it like everyone's Force Push. Now don't worry, the charge will only last around a second or two, and you'll gain around 10% of damage reduction while charging. At the lowest of the charge, it will deal 150 damage. At full of the charge, it will deal 300 damage. So, yep, and the cooldown, because of the full charge damage, it will have a well, that was anticlimactic. Pretty much for the ability cooldown, I'll give it, I don't know, maybe I actually didn't think about the cooldowns. Maybe, no, I don't know, 10-second cooldown. I think that's good. So, that's going to be the cooldown for Charged Throw. For the next ability, Mokashi, this is going to be similar to Dooku's duelist ability, where the animation for the activation wheel, it will pretty much move the saber in front of his face, similar to Dooku, which is like this. It will not be as fast, and it will be a little bit, and it will take a little bit longer to activate, and will not be able to block during the ability. And yes, he will not be able to block during the saber throw, by the way. This will pretty much make him, he will not increase his swing speed, but what he will get is with the opponent that he attacks, he will pretty much slow them down for the duration of the ability, permanently until the ability ends. So that's that, but he also has another advantage during the ability. Pretty much he will be able to gain damage reduction with the more damage dealt to him. Pretty much, let's say Anakin swinged at him with one swing and the attack was successful. Pretty much what would happen is that he would take 50% of the damage taken and convert 50% of the damage that was taken into the health bar, and replace that with pretty much, well, it would take half of the percent that was taken away from his health bar and pretty much convert that into damage reduction, and it will stay there permanently for every use of the ability. And this will also multiply for each amount of damage taken. So let's say a blaster bolt, it wouldn't get as much damage if it was like a lightsaber swing or an ability that dealt a lot of damage. You would get more damage reduction out of that. And for every successful swing, he would gain a little bit of damage reduction as well, around 5. So I think this does kind of make the ability quite useful, especially for trooper modes where it does not have a lot of range options because of the last ability, double blades. Now keeping the cooldown for that ability for Mokashi, pretty much that ability will probably have a 15-second cooldown, maybe 20, depends on how powerful you consider the ability and which one you'll think you'll prefer, depending on how powerful you think the ability sounds. So for the last ability, double blades, this will not be compatible with Mokashi because it has a very similar function but does a little bit more to help improve. So he will activate 2 blades on the lightsaber and begin to use the spinning function on it, and will increase his swing speed. So then what will happen is that because of the increased swing speed, he will not gain more damage, but he will have an increased swing speed. So his stamina will be doubled. So it's going to be doubled. Sorry, this is live commentary. He'll have doubled stamina and will gain 250 extra health. For the ability. And he will probably have, because it doesn't do as much, he will probably have a 10-second cooldown. So he's not really best suited for trooper modes, but he is suited for hero modes. And keep in mind, he is meant to be fighting Jedi, so his abilities are going to be, of course, suited for that. As that will be in his character, and because he is meant to be fighting Jedi, this does seem very in character for him. As you wouldn't really see him fighting people that aren't Jedi, but then we do see him interrogate people, so which he doesn't really do much with it when it comes to them, so we can't really do much with that. So now we can get into some of the star cards, maybe. Wait, no, the appearances, of course. So I'll probably, like I said, I'll not go over the star cards, and I don't think I could think of many star cards at the moment. But let's go into the appearances. His default appearance will be called the Inquisitor. This will be his standard appearance from Star Wars Rebels in Season 1. This will be the default appearance for him. Its next appearance will be an uncommon appearance, and this will be the appearance that he has when he's chasing down, I think, the Ghost in Rebels, and he wears that TIE Fighter pilot's helmet. He wears that TIE Fighter helmet. If you don't know what I mean, think of the Star Wars Rebels Lego minifigure of the Grand Inquisitor, and he has a helmet there. Pretty much that's the helmet I'm talking about. So, then probably for the next appearance, an Obi-Wan Kenobi appearance, which will be called the Grand Inquisitor, and also the TIE Fighter one will probably just be called Helmet or Helmeted. So, or TIE Fighter pilots. So, there is that ability. Appearance. Now, the Kenobi appearance will be epic appearance. The next appearance will be, now this is going to be the Sith Ghost appearance. Now we will use the standard animations that the normal appearances do. This is pretty much from the comics where he fights Luke Skywalker between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the Jedi Temple, when he uses the temple, when he's going to get the Temple Guard's lightsaber. And this happens again. So, yeah. What are you doing, Grievous? So, that will be another epic appearance. For the final two epic appearances, it will be Helmetless Temple Guards, which will be these appearance from when Yoda is using the vision to test Kanan. And that ended quickly. And someone's using Dooku. Mel, the box are. And pretty much that will be an appearance. The Temple Guard appearance. So pretty much that's going to be an appearance. Now, before you go rush into the comments saying, well, how would the lightsaber work with the spinning function on it? Well, that's because he'll be only having a yellow blade difference. To make it this compatible with the ability, the lightsaber hilt will not change, only the colour of the lightsaber. So this is only to make it compatible with the abilities, and Dooku's being used. Yep, and the next appearance, which will be Temple Guards, which will be his final appearance, which will also be an epic appearance. Well, actually, the Temple Guards appearances will be legendary, but pretty much that appearance will use the same thing when it comes to working with the animations, and that will just be a helmeted version of the helmetless appearance that he has in Rebels. Now onto some emotes for him. Hey, what's going on with you, Dooku? I think I have to restart this match because what Dooku? Anyway, pretty much when it comes to pretty much for the emotes, I think the first emote should be "There will be no reinforcements." I think that could be a funny one to activate right before entering a duel with in Battlefront 2, because you know there are those people that do duels. I think that could be a funny one to activate right before entering a duel, because there literally would be no reinforcements. I think the next one should be "There are some things far more frightening than death." I think that one's another good one. Now we're getting on to some Kenobi appearance for some Kenobi lines. "You will be dealt with when we return." I think that could be a good line, but I don't see how that would work very well. Now I'm not going to do the "hello" line because I know that's not going to really work that well. If they really want to put that in, they could. the next emote, I think... Oh, hang on, I forgot. Oh, right. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves the trail. I think that's another good line. So, it would be a funny one if you're going to fight a Jedi. And then the final emote will be the Jedi code is like an itch, they cannot help it. I think that's another good line. So, yeah. Now hold on, I'm just gonna start another match. Alright. So that's pretty much all the emotes that I think could work in this game. Now we're going to kind of go on to some maybe unnecessary things, so if you want to leave the video now, then you can. But this is just some concept things of some of the animations and what its intro music and outro music could be. So for its spawning music, I think it will probably just be the start of his theme from Star Wars Rebels. For the short intro version of the music, then I think it could be the part where he walks into the when he walks into Vader right after he stabbed Reaver and says hello. Not when he, and just before he begins that conversation with with Reaver. No, it's a conversation. But and the outro music could probably just be the the music that plays for his death theme. So I think that's going to be some good music for options for pretty much for how he enters the battle in like heroes versus villains. It could probably be something like pretty much something like how he first activated his lightsaber, and I think episode 5 of series 1 of Rebels, or season 1, where he has it behind his back and then pulls it to his side and activates the blades. I think that could work well, except it would have to be in a walking animation right before right before activating the lightsaber. But I think that could work well. And pretty much that is just about it. So I think this works quite well for the Grand Inquisitor. He was more of a saber user than a force user in Rebels, but did use the force when he had to. And another thing that I forgot about one of his attacks, which was the jumps, which is when you swing while jumping. This was one of these moves that he did quite a bit in Rebels, where he jumped over his enemies and then used his legs to pretty much stun them for seconds. I think this could work well into his combat, where he's immune to force abilities and lightsaber attacks during his jump, and pretty much uses his legs to attack the enemy during the jump, which probably might not be able to be blocked, probably. And you will also stagger them for a seconds. I think this ability would work well, as it does kind of play into the Grand Inquisitor's character. So I think this is a good ability for him. So, I'll say ability is one of his main attacks, but yeah. Now of course this would be kind of unfair if it was used over and over again, which is why there is the stagger cooldown in the game, but yeah, I think the Grand Inquisitor would have been an interesting character in the game and make a great secondary Count Dooku kind of character. And I know he's probably using quite a bit. I might use Dooku more, as he is more suited to how I like to play. But I definitely would have liked to use him as like my second go-to option in Hero Showdown. So, Zoe, what would you think about playing the Grand Inquisitor in according to this hero concept? I think he would have been quite powerful but also fun. The low health cooldown, health regen pool, does kind of balance him out. But then he also has the but then he also does have that damage reduction on all of his abilities. Now, like I said, I just remembered, for double blades, your bonus health goes away as soon as the ability ends. Just wanted to mention that. And pretty much the damage, and keep in mind the damage reduction that you gained from Makashi, which is the name for Form 2 in Star Wars of Lightsaber Combat. That would pretty much make it so the damage reduction you gain will stay permanently for every use of the ability, but it will disappear once the use of the ability has ended. I just want to mention that. I know I can't have mentioned it, but if you didn't quite understand, then that's what I meant. So I think the Grand Inquisitor will be an interesting hero in this game. Now, I get a lot of people don't like the spinning blades, and I get a lot of people don't like the flying, but it is a part of their characteristics, so they would, of course, be implemented into the game. Now, I think if he was to come with another hero, it would probably be with Kanan Jarrus. Maybe with Stygian Prime as the planet. That's the planet map I'd pick for, which is what I also did for a Battlefront 2015 DLC concept on my main channel. But pretty much, yeah, maybe the next hero concept will be Kanan Jarrus or Weaver from the Canary Show. I know a lot of people. I know some people don't like Weaver, but there is quite a bit that we can try and use with her. We haven't got to see a lot of her, but I do think we can try and make her work. She'll probably be a lot of a saber focused hero though. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this hero concept. Now I think the Grand Inquisitor will be quite interesting, and I'll see you all next time. One Dooku. So yeah, bye.